Hello, and welcome to Top Warren's Quick Grok video. Today we will talk about searching within an asset collection in TopBraid Edge. I'm going to switch to TopBraid Edge, and here on the home page you see the Search the Edge feature. So if you're interested in this search, we have a separate video about this. Today's video is focusing on searching within an individual asset collection as opposed to searching across TopBraid Edge. I'm going to pick geography taxonomy as an example, but the techniques and capabilities shown in this video apply to searching within any asset collection. I actually have a search panel right here nested behind the hierarchical tree, but I'm going to switch to the search layout because that also gives me a search library panel, which I want to demonstrate as well. So let me start by searching. I'm going to simply type some text, and you see return results. When you look at them, you notice that some of them actually don't have the string length in the label. This is because this particular search searches across any text values, and we actually have a history node that has length in its text. By the way, if I wanted to bring additional column, I could select it from this drop down and bring, for example, history notes, so we could see all the history notes available. Alternatively, I could also search right here by using this filter field and enter length. What is the difference between searching here and searching in this text? There are two differences. One is that if you saw initially, and you kind of see the exclamation sign here as well, even though I have only 59 values. So when you look initially, you see that exclamation sign and says that only 1,000 rows are displayed. This means that actually I have more than 1,000 values. And the upper limit is set at TopBraid Edge server level. It can be more than 1,000, but if the number of values exceed that number, then I will have a warning about it. So when I run search using this upper portion of the form of the search panel, this searches across all the data. When I'm doing the search, and therefore I'm getting, that's one of the reasons I'm getting 70 results. If I'm searching here, I am searching only within the data that was loaded in the table. So if there is more than 1,000 in this case, there could be situations that I'm missing some. Another difference is that as I explained, this search searches across all text values, so it will look at history note, alternative labels, etc. Here is just filters among the values displayed in this column, and in this case among the preferred labels. And if I wanted to do a history note, then I could use this. If I want to search within just preferred labels and search across all data, I can pick I could pick the preferred label as a search filter, and I could use that to search, and that gives me 63 rows because that's focused on just the preferred label. I could also combine search that is performed across all data with additional narrowing up within the result of tables. So for example, I'm looking at just United, and within those that the match United in the preferred label, I'm now look for those that also have land in it. And I got down to just 2 results. When I pick one of the properties as a filter property, I get a number of qualifiers. So for example, let me switch to a more specific concept, city, and that gives me some additional properties to look at. And I'm going to pick the capital of to search on. This is a relationship, so that gives me an autocomplete. So if I'm looking for a capital of United States, for example, that gives me an autocomplete and I get one result. And I could also search for, let's say, give me all the cities that are capitals of anything, and then that returns only cities that are that have any value in the capital. Similarly, I could print this column here, and you see the results that I'm getting. The kind of qualifier that I get next to my search criteria depends on the field that I'm picking up as search to filter on. So let's say if I want to filter on area, this is a numeric value, so I also get like min and max, and you see that I also get to search on a number of available values, and get to search on equals as opposed to a range. So that differs depending on the particular field that I pick to search on. Another option that I have with these filters is that I could actually search on the values of a related resource. And the way it works is as following. Anytime I look at the relationship, let's say capital of relationship, since it's a relationship as opposed to some literal value like area, I get a little arrow to the right. And I could pick it to expand. So now I want to look at all the cities that are capitals of something, and that the value that I'm going to search, I'm going to pick the broader concept. So I will be looking at all the cities that are capital of some geographic concepts that have their broader value set to United States. And this gives me all the capitals of states within the United States, because my chain of relationships is from the city to the state via the capital of relationship, and then from the state to the country, and the country is United States. I could save any of the search that I'm interested in by giving it a name. This is done by clicking on this Save Search column. And there's actually two options here. I could save the search as a default. So anytime I go into this asset collection, the table presents these results. Or I could give it a name. And let me search it save it as a name search, and say so now it's available in the search library, and I could see potentially who created it and when it was created. This is all is configurable by using the menu. I also see the service URL, and the service URL is a service endpoint that external systems could use to run this query. I could also click on it here, and it opens up in the Graph QL panel, so I could run it here myself and see what the results will be. If I want to have some search criteria that over and above what I could do in the UI, through the search panel, but it's something that I could only do in my GraphQL query. I could potentially modify the query here and then save it, and then that saved query also will be saved in my library and also available as an endpoint. So that's another way to define searches if there are some criteria that are more complex than what I could do in a user interface. Let me take a look at some other options that are available here within the search panel itself. You could, for example, decide to return local results only. This is what I have set right now. And if you have a combination of graphs where one graph, one asset collection includes another, you could use this to control whether you're running a query only over the current graph or over the entire closure of the graphs, all the included asset collections. There's also an automatic option to add a column for each filter. So each time I select something as a filter, it automatically shows up as a column. And then another option has to do with whether auto searching happens or not, because here the moment I type something, search happens. But if I disable this, then I would need to click on the search button if I want to execute the search. So this gives you a quick overview of the search options within asset collection. It's pretty powerful set of search options. And additionally to this type of searches, you could also define Sparkle queries and use them as your search criteria. Look for a video that describes these options. Thank you for watching.